Good morning, everyone!
Hello, and we are just getting March started, but we're so excited to have you all here with us. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with the news that you can use right now.
Rise and shine, beautiful people! I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Let's make your Tuesday morning extra special with a dose of laughter, good vibes, and the best company.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always more fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. Coach V is back today. I'm so excited. My favorite segment.
Yes.
100%. And you know what? I love what we were talking about right before we started. Basically talking about how Mo has no idea how to get in colleges here in the Philippines.
Oh my gosh, here we go again.
Because she didn't grow up here.
Yeah, she
It's
didn't.
different.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. Each college here, you have to take an entrance exam, and they're all different
Yes.
names.
Yeah.
I really thought it's just one.
And they have all different specialties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like naalala ko, when I took the UP entrance exam, the UPCAT, I felt like I had to study extra math because their math was in Tagalog. And I wasn't used to it. Yeah, and I wasn't used to it.
I would have failed that. Help me
Yeah.
out.
Pero funnily enough, for me, the hardest math was La Salle's because they specialized in accounting and they were a business school. So that's why their math segment was harder, for me at least. And then yung asset, the Ateneo entrance exam, tinulugan ko lang. Kasi, sorry Ateneo, ang dali.
Wow!
Yabang!
Oh my goodness!
Wow, he really said that on camera. I'm shocked. You don't say
You know,
that.
we should like guess someone from
As someone
Ateneo
from, I can say that
and
as a
then
Lasallian,
have a
by the way.
discussion with Pao,
Actually, let's just
right?
leave them together. Whoever
Exactly.
makes, what is it called? The asset? Whoever
Asset.
makes the asset, let's have them over
no,
here.
pero seryoso yun. I actually finished it really early, the asset when I took it.
Wow.
Hindi ko nang
And then, no, yeah, and to be fair,
Sana
pumasa
all.
naman ako I'm just saying, pumasa ako sa Ateneo, but I ended up going to the school of my choice.
Because
Because
That
I
was
had
his choice.
No, because I had to
let's hear
because
why.
that was the only school that offered 2 degrees at the same time. So that's why I ended up
he
taking this
needed 2 degrees because he's too smart.
I know.
No, basta. Sige.
Oh my gosh.
How about you? What was your stories back then, like when you were
I
making
only
decision?
took the UP UPCAT
Yeah.
and then UST.
Usted,
Yeah, and then
Usted?
for UPCAT, I got admitted to Los Baños.
Okay.
But I didn't want to move to Los Baños.
UPLB, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to UST. Yeah.
Because there was in UP, what a lot of people do, or at least did back in my day, they would apply to other campuses where it's easier to get into.
Yeah.
And then shift
Wait,
to a
wait,
different
so
campus.
do you guys have a test per campus?
No, in
Or is
UP,
it just one?
UP
UP kasi is
Because like UP has Diliman and another one.
they have a lot.
So
They
do
have a
you
lot, yeah.
just apply for like just Diliman?
There
or
are
just...
some courses in some campuses.
Yes.
Yo, that is
So you
too-
apply for those.
That is complicated.
Well,
That's a lot.
yeah, but
It
in the
is a
States,
lot.
kasi you only have
We only have the
SATs.
SAT or the
that's
ACT.
easier, no?
Yeah.
So you
And then
just
we
take
just
one test.
apply.
Standardized,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
standardized,
And then
and,
you
we
just
apply
choose.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which you can take here also, by the way, the SATs.
Yeah, I didn't
and
know
then
that.
you can use that for overseas.
But for college admission, you have to go per college, per
Yeah, that's
university.
crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not a fan of standardized tests, though.
You're-
Just
yeah.
saying. I don't think it measures how smart a person is.
Spoken like someone who tested
So-
well, or
I did test well.
There you go.
But I'm just saying, it was too stressful, and I don't think it really does measure a
I
person's
think the most stressful part
IQ.
about that entire process is actually when you're in high school, you really feel that your
Yeah.
next decision is going to set your life.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes it's just not the case.
It's
diba?
true though, the pressure during high school, like just sophomore year alone, like freshman year, it's so chill. When you do sophomore, junior year, like it's crazy.
I'm
You
actually
prepare
curious
for that
how-
like your whole life, essentially.
I don't know how the Gen Z feel now though. Kasi diba may mga STEM, the strands right
yeah,
now.
strands, the
Different
You
different
pick the
ones that we
strands
didn't
strands now.
have.
Before, hindi. They just throw you out there. So, and speaking of throwing you out there, and for the kids going to school, I think we
Yes.
gotta talk about what's happening.
We
now.
have traffic report now. I'm so happy. I miss doing this. But anyway, if you're just about to leave your homes, here's what to expect out there. Let's take a look at the major roads in Metro Manila at this hour. This is the situation situation along EDSA Quezon Avenue flyover. On the left side of your screens are vehicles going to Quiapo. On the right side are vehicles headed to Quezon Memorial Circle. So if you're headed to the Quiapo area, still a good time to drive. Moderate traffic in that area and still free flowing on the opposite side as well. Now let us take a look on the live feed from EDSA GA Tower in Mandaluyong. Ooh, we're high up there. On the left side of your screens is the northbound lane going to Shaw Boulevard, and on the right side is the southbound lane headed to Makati. Still free flowing on both lanes. Please do take care. If you're already on the road, drive safe. The expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing since it is a Tuesday. Vehicles with license plates ending in 3 and 4 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Now we got some good news for motorists. A rollback in fuel prices is in effect for the first week of March. Gasoline prices will be slashed by 90 centavos per liter and 80 centavos a liter for diesel. Kerosene prices also set to go down by 1 peso and 40 centavos. The Energy Department says sluggish fuel demand in South Korea and easing tensions between Russia and Ukraine are some of the factors behind the latest movement in oil prices.
On to some serious business now. Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel says the public should pressure the Senate acting as an impeachment court to start the trial for Vice President Sara Duterte. Speaking in BNC's agenda, Pimentel explains this is in accordance with the Constitution that there should be no cause for delay. The senator earlier expressed his opposition to the timeline presented by Senate President Chis Escudero, who wanted the trial done beginning in July.
Sa tingin ko, yung aking conclusion na pwede na kami mag-umpisa bukas, pwede na kami nag-umpisa kahapon, actually, sa tingin ko mas suportado yung aking posisyon ng saligang batas plus our own existing Senate impeachment rules. Pagbasahin mo lahat ng mga provision, wala kang ibang conclusion except that hiwalay ang Senate impeachment session, court session sa Senate legislative session.
Opo.
Ibang-iba. So, bakit namin pinapako sarili namin na hindi kami makaiwas sa Senate legislative session? Kailangan i-timing daw namin doon. Mali na po yun.
It may take 2 years to complete the planned north and southbound rehabilitation of EDSA. DPWH NCR Director Loretta Malaluan tells BNC's On Point it may commence on March 24 on the northbound bus lane as bidding, and other requirements for the project is still ongoing. Malaluan says that after 5 to 6 months completing the northbound lane, it will proceed with the southbound lane, which may take 18 months to finish. The southbound lane project is funded under this year's General Appropriations Act at 7.9 billion pesos.
Para po mabilis nga yung ating trabaho at matapos kaagad, we requested MMDA to allow us to work 24/7. Kaya po lahat ng ating mga contractors ay mag-start sila ng sabay-sabay, especially dun sa southbound dahil may 15 segments po tayo. Unlike dito sa northbound, 1 segment lang.
Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel has filed a resolution calling for an investigation into the repeated collapse of bridges nationwide. This comes after the Cabagan-Santa Maria Bridge in Isabela collapsed just a month after it was retrofitted at a cost of 1 billion pesos. ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro is also set to file a resolution at the House of Representatives. Lawmakers want those behind these incidents to be held accountable and policies reviewed to ensure public safety.
Malacanang looking into reports pointing to supposed donations to Philippine National Police and some local government units from suspected Chinese spies. Among who donated cars, 3 Chinese nationals caught in January for suspected espionage in Palawan. PNP says they are looking into it.
Sa panahon po ng pandemya, nabalitaan po din natin na marami po natanggap na ambulance, na mga sasakyan. Tama ba? Ambulansya. especially Davao City. Parang marami na ibigay ang China sa Davao City sa panahon po ni Mayor Sara at the time. Wala pong masama kung tatanggap tayo ng donasyon if it is done in good faith. So kung ito naman po pala ay parang ibinigay, pero merong kakaibang dahilan for that, kailangan po nating imbestigahan yan at kung sino man po yung mga tumanggap ng mga opisyal ng LGU.
Commission on Election invites a viral noontime show contestant in a meeting today. That's after the 20-year-old pageant contestant admitted on national television she doesn't know much about COMELEC. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia is concerned a lot more youth could be unaware, but he admits the agency needs to ramp up its voters' education program.
The poll body also closely monitoring the construction of its new headquarters in Pasay City. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia says the new facility will be of great help since they're renting the Palacio del Gobernador in Intramuros, Manila. Garcia says they've spent over 8 billion pesos for the new COMELEC building. He adds it may rise to 13 billion.
The revamp imposed by Malacanang extends to PTV4. Presidential Communication Office Acting Secretary Jay Ruiz says former Executive Secretary Oscar Orbos will act as its OIC General Manager and Chairman, replacing Toby Nebrida. He explains this is to ease tension at the state-owned television stations.
Siya ang papalit na kausap na namin nung Sabado at pumayag siya na pansamantala munang officer in charge doon as GM. So we're just preparing the papers, titignan namin yung legalities. Pero sa ngayon, pumayag na siya. Inaalam na lang, sabi lang niya, I won't stay there for long kasi medyo may edad na yun si former Secretary Oscar Orbos. Sabi niya, he'd rather want to stay as chairman instead. Kami naman pumayag on our part. Sinabi namin na sige sir, pansamantala muna para lang magkaroon ng... Kasi maraming empleyado nagre-reklamo doon. So yun, kaya namin pinagdesisyonan na si Executive Secretary Oscar Orbos muna mag-OIC doon.
The University of the Philippines opens its application for the College Admission Test, or UPCAT, for this year. The state university will accept applicants until March 31. For details and submission of applications, go to upcat2026online.edu.ph.
Update on the Pope's health now. The Vatican says Pope Francis suffered 2 episodes of acute respiratory insufficiency on Monday. Francis is receiving non-invasive mechanical ventilation once more to help with his breathing. The Pope's prognosis remained guarded, meaning he is not out of danger. The 88-year-old pontiff has been in Rome's Gemelli Hospital since February 14 for double pneumonia.
U.S. President Donald Trump is firm there's no stopping the tariffs on Mexico and Canada. The tariffs scheduled to take effect 1 p.m. today, Manila time, sent financial markets reeling on new economic barriers in North America. The U.S. Stock Exchange extended their losses after Trump's comments. Canada and Mexico would face 25% tariffs with 10% for Canadian energy.
Now on to sports. 2-time Olympic boxing medalist Nesty Petesio is more determined than ever to qualify for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Petesio tells Abante Sports she's excited about the chance to fight for the country's first Olympic boxing gold, following the International Olympic Committee's provisional recognition of the sport. World Boxing will now serve as the sport's governing body after the IOC cut ties with the International Boxing Association. The Association of Boxing Alliances in the Philippines, or ABAP, says they are closely monitoring the IOC General Assembly on March 20, when a final decision on world boxing status is expected. Boxing, an original Olympic sport, has brought home 10 medals for the Philippines, the most from any sport. Now, from the squared circle to the pool table. Filipina billiards queen Rubelin Amit is on top after a massive performance at the Las Vegas Women's Open in the U.S. The Cebuana star defeated China's Han Yu in the final to claim the title over the weekend. Amit won $22,500 or roughly 1.3 million pesos. The Q star was also victorious in the Women's Challenge of Champions, where she also bagged $15,000 or nearly 870,000 pesos to her winnings. It was Viva Las Vegas indeed for Bingay, who wrapped up her campaign with a massive 2.1 million peso payday.
In entertainment news, Anora wins big at the 97th Academy Awards. The drama, which is about a sex worker's chance at a Cinderella-like transformation, won Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. Sean Baker was also hailed Best Director. The film star 25-year-old Mikey Madison won Best Actress, quite an upset as she beat Demi Moore, who was predicted to win. Meantime, the Oscars Best Actor award went to Adrian Brody, his second Oscar for his performance in The Brutalist. Zoe Saldana was Best Supporting Actress for Emilia Perez, while Kieran Culkin, who starred in A Real Pain, was Best Supporting Actor.
You know, it's just great to see that. Did you watch the Oscars at all? Or
No, I didn't.
Any of the movies?
No,
I had work.
Oh, the movies? No, not yet.
I haven't. You know, we're like so behind on movies.
Yeah.
We literally don't have time.
But they're not showing here yet. I think the Conclave is just
Conclave
about to be
is.
shown.
It's in theaters now.
Oh, okay.
Tam watched it and he loved it.
Yeah. You know, I was just looking at the. Have you seen? You haven't seen anything about the Oscars?
None. I watched The Witches.
The Wicked one.
Yeah,
of course.
of course.
I was like,
The Wicked
of course I did.
performance.
'Cause
That
I
was
saw it on
amazing.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Ariana and Cynthia killed it per usual.
Yeah.
Gave me goosebumps.
I
My
know.
goodness.
I mean, like, it made me come up with like a list of the movies I wanted to see again afterwards. Anora, probably for more mature audiences only.
Wait, you said
given-
again, so you've seen them.
No, I mean, like, I've seen only parts of them. Like when you go through it, you know, you find ways to try and preview some. And yeah, I mean, like Anora definitely for more mature audiences. Brutalist is so, I don't know. I mean, like I'm just such a big fan of the winners in terms of the actors, like
I
seeing
love
their body
Adrian
of work.
Brody.
I
So
can't wait.
Adrian Brody for
I need to
sure.
watch.
And what really impressed me about Anora is that it was written, directed, and edited by one guy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it all as a whole. But yeah, no, congratulations to all the winners. And of course,
Yes.
something really interesting happened as well because a legend did pass recently.
Hollywood legend Morgan Freeman delivered a heartfelt tribute to his fellow screen icon, the late Gene Hackman. The two-time Oscar winner and his wife were found dead at their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico on February 26th. Authorities are still determining the cause of death.
This week, our community lost a giant, and I lost a dear friend, Gene Hackman. I had the pleasure of working alongside Gene on two films, Unforgiven and Under Suspicion. And like everyone who's ever shared a scene with him, I learned he was a generous performer and a man whose gifts elevated everyone's work. He received 2 Oscars, but more importantly, he won the hearts of film lovers all over the world. Gene always said, "I don't think about legacy. I just hope people remember me as someone who tried to do good work." So I think I speak for us all when I say, Gene, you'll be remembered for that and for so much more. Rest in peace, my friend.
We've got more stories and conversations for you later on in the show. Francis Kong, one of the country's top speakers, will join us live to talk about the business of inspiration. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, our guest today is one of the country's top speakers, known for his sharp business insights and his unique way of inspiring audiences from corporate leaders to students. Now, what's the secret behind his business of inspiration? Let's find out from the most professional-looking guy on the show here today, Mr. Francis Kong. It's a beautiful day, Sir Francis.
Thank you. Beautiful day to all of you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. First off, it's great to have you here. We love the outfit. I love the coat in particular. And of course, when we talk about the business of inspiration, I want to understand the origin story of you in this type of business, in this line of work, because not a lot of people get into it. There are a lot of charismatic people, but not a lot of people who can communicate the way you do.
Well, you know what? They say that charisma is just a few words away from charlatan, right?
Yeah.
So if you ask people who have been heavily affected, influenced by leaders in the past, you will notice one common denominator among all of them. They were inspired. So they had very good leaders who would influence them to become better, right? So I had my own fair share of leaders who were the opposite spectrum of being inspiring. And I've had people who would inspire me. And when I say leaders, I don't just mean business leaders. I would refer to college professors who would just maybe look at you and say, hey, you're better than who you are. And you've got what it takes to become better. So all throughout my life, I realized that there's just a lot of skepticism and criticism all over the place, but there's a serious lack for inspiration. And that's what people need today, right? So I said, hey, this is not a business venture for me, but this becomes a life mission that I'd like to do because I'm on the receiving end of that. I want to give it away this time.
Francis, was there any defining moment in your life that, pushed you towards personal development and leadership training into the business of inspiration?
Oh, okay. I've always been in business. I still am in business. I'm involved with retail and manufacturing as well currently. Sit on the board of a couple of companies. And when I made a name in manufacturing during the boom of an industry called RTW. Right? So I was fascinated with that. But it created a name for me in the industry. But what people don't know, I started researching on that industry. And I work as a visual merchandiser, which is a politically correct way of saying you're changing clothes in mannequins. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, show windows. So, and then my goal was to be in sales. So I worked really hard. I thought, never attended any seminars. Nobody would invest in me. So the only way that can get me through is to keep on reading and learning and knowing and understanding and investing a lot, even with my very minuscule of a salary. I invested in it. So my next goal is to be a salesperson. When that job was offered to me because I was then ready, what I noticed was that it's so difficult to be in sales. Have you guys ever been in sales?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I'm
have, right?
only in sales.
Oh, there
yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
So don't cry if I bring the story. So I was bringing my samples over to the store and presenting this to the merchandise to buyers. And I was noticing the way certain people can be rude. They can look down on salespeople. They were kind of offensive to a sense. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this rather than just to be accepting the treatment. And the only way is to earn their respect. Now, how do you do that?
Right.
So I said, I'm going to make this buyer successful. While others are cursing them behind their back, I said, the only way I can get their respect is to make them successful.
Yeah.
So next time I bring my samples along with me, I will make sure that I'm going to bring them, hey, you guys know this is the forthcoming trend, the color psychology behind. So I applied what I learned, and I have to bring out proof, magazine clippings, just in case they say, are you sure?
Yeah.
And then that way, the buyers will get value not only from the samples, and they'll present it to their bosses. So when they present to their boss, they're probably thinking, my boss will now think I'm really smart and intelligent because I have this additional information. I never knew that was the building block that got me to where I am right now. So I'm not a speaker. I'm actually an educator. I'm not a motivational speaker, and honestly, I don't like that term.
Okay.
I probably look at myself as somebody who imparts ideas that can help you become better.
So parang coach.
Right.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you say that. And you also mentioned earlier you continue to learn, and you're a fan of continuous learning. Do you have any books, practices, or habits that help you, or that you can also impart on us, your viewers, as well?
Well, tell me what particular line of interest do you have? I mean, you want to talk about public speaking? The best book I've recently encountered is a book entitled Speak Like a Leader. You want to talk about business strategy? The rock star of marketing, Seth Godin, wrote his latest book entitled This is Strategy. I'm going to be in New York on November interviewing him, by the way. You want to talk about Adam Grant? His Think Again is one of the best books. He's a psychologist, organizational psychologist, a top consultant now in Silicon Valley. You want to talk about emotional intelligence? I'm going to be interviewing both Adam Grant and Brené Brown this November in New York. And Brené Brown's Atlas of the Heart is, I mean, she hits it very well. So it depends on your field of interest, and you tell me, and I will recommend some books for you. Right.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot there. I think we can go through the list later on. But then I want to go back and track back to something that you mentioned a while ago. You said when you got into sales, you weren't really ready.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people put things off because they quote unquote aren't ready. How do you get comfortable not being ready when you try and pursue something you want to do?
Well, my short answer is swimming. You're never ready, and you can never learn swimming unless you go to the deep end of the pool. When you're just, wading in the shallow waters, you'll never learn, but you have a misconception like you're ready. But that's your bar, right? So you got to get into it. You got to face the challenges that ordinary people face, in fact, the biggest fear of most people in sales is the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's a wrong concept. Whenever I give seminars to salespeople, I would say, how many of you have been rejected? 99% of the time, all the hands were raised up. And I say, you're wrong. You've never been rejected. Because only the people who are closest to you in your life have the power to reject you. Your clients or potential clients are not your closest people. Therefore, you were not rejected, you were merely refused. That kind of mindset gives you the tenacity to go back again and say, well, maybe, my client woke up on the wrong side of the bed, the budget wasn't ready, I'm going to go back again. So that mind frame thing is extremely huge in terms of achieving success in life.
Yeah, Sir Francis, I just want to, you mentioned swimming, jumping into the deep end, and you mentioned talking to salespeople, but you don't just talk to salespeople. You talk to so many others, people in power. So how do you tell high-powered CEOs or high-powered executives how to swim when they felt that they've been doing that for a very long time?
That's a very good question. And by the way, here's a trade secret of speakers. Whenever speakers say, that's a great question, he doesn't have the answer yet, right? So what you can do is, with high-powered people, they are so acclimatized and they're so familiar with control.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will say, hey guys, times have changed. The industrial civilization era of control, command and control, has given way now to a general democratized knowledge base of people who value a lot more empathy than control. You're not dealing with machines, you're dealing with humans. Maybe that would explain the reason why attrition is very high for leaders who don't inspire their people, who still want to control them. And by the way, a proclivity towards command and control is a sign of insecurity as well.
Okay. Francis, as Paolo have mentioned, you've spoken with so many people, different kind of people, people in sales, people in power, entrepreneurs as well. How do you adapt your message to connect with different audiences, whether they're corporate leaders, employees, or even students?
Well, one of the key secrets of effective communicators is you got to read the room. You don't start blabbing your mouth. You got to understand who are these audiences, and a little bit of a research will help you a lot. Like I did a lot of research on you guys before I came here, right? So I know your darkest, deepest secrets. But
I'm intrigued.
Kasi grabe to mag-TikTok eh. That's the
Okay,
reason why you
I'm sure you spent more hours on Anne than Paolo and I.
Yeah, so students naman, what are the common struggles of students? I mean, apart from maintaining their grades and everything else, and it's peer pressure. You understand that they have not had the privilege of attending seminars given by decent people who would teach them the right things. So where are they going to get their thoughts from? TikTok,
Right.
YouTube, right? And we have a lot of feigned expertise or fake gurus. And so I have to change that mindset. And yet, you have to speak in the lingo that they will understand, relevant. Now, I've got good news for you. The Gen Z right now are extremely intelligent. All they need is a connection that makes sense. And the Gen Z people now hate fake. They want authenticity, they want rawness and everything else. So I'll talk to the way that they can understand. I don't speak above them. I'll reach them where they are.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point, actually. But now I'm curious, has there been a speaking engagement that resonated the most with you, and why?
This one.
yes.
This one.
This one,
Apart from this one, you mean, before we do our song and dance number.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, I think the one that really made a lot of fulfillment, gave me a lot of fulfillment, was in United Nations when I spoke to about, 450 university scholars from all over the world. How do you address a group of defined of different colors and creeds and culture, and how do you present a message that will resonate with them? And during the Q&A, the proof of the pudding is always during the Q&A. You can have a brilliant presentation, but when somebody asks you a question that clobbers you, you're done, right? So you can imagine the height of my nervousness at that time. And there were questions that were really provocative, a little bit of a wokeness thing and everything else. But that was really challenging. But at the end of the day, when you do a good job, you go home, you still think about it, and you feel fulfilled. So that's one of those. Speaking to these brilliant minds and scholars from different universities comprising of different creed and races and nationalities, that was the one I won't forget.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. I like that you admitted that you were nervous.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people, especially when you have the line of work that you do or do what you do, people typically assume that sanay na to.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not
they
he's
won't
used
admit.
to
Yeah.
doing things. But then I personally think being nervous is a good sign.
Yeah.
Whenever you go to work, when people approach you and ask you about how you handle their nerves or what type of advice you give when they're nervous, so what do you normally say?
The usual question I have is, with the volume of talks you've been giving, I average about 300 in a year, by the way.
Wow, congratulations.
Crazy.
Thank
So
you.
you only rest for 65 days a year.
Oh, that's not resting.
Yeah, when I'm resting, I'm reading and I'm learning too. And so when people ask me, are you still nervous? I said, yes, I'm nervous when I'm not nervous.
Exactly.
Because if I'm not nervous, that means I'm going to wing it and I'm shortchanging my clients, right? So a little bit of nervousness keeps you on your toes. And so you're going to be, your mind begins to be sharpened and witty. Like right now, I'm trembling with nervousness. No, just kidding.
You don't look it though.
He's not. He got this. He got this. He has this. No, but we also have to look at. You mentioned you wear many hats. You still do business.
Right.
You're an inspirational speaker. You're a mentor to some as well. And I can only imagine the balancing act that you need to do. At least a generation ago, it felt like the buzzword was work-life balance.
Yeah.
I know now it's about that and now being genuine. You mentioned that with the Gen Z.
Right.
So how do you manage all of that personally? Because it's so easy to get out of touch sometimes.
Right. Well, the short answer to that is I don't. I don't manage it. Before the pandemic happened, companies and clients are shying away from the term work-life balance.
Yeah.
because they understand it doesn't really work. That's why I refuse invitations for me to give seminars on work-life balance. 2 reasons. Number one, I don't believe in it. Number two, I don't have it. So if you talk about balance, what's the literal description? It's equilibrium, right? And so you have your left leg planted, your right leg planted, body weight equally distributed. You have balance. I only have one problem. You don't have movement, right? And so I still believe in inspiring excellence. When I do something, I give 100%. When I'm with my family, I give 100%. And so what I do is, what is important for me is to achieve work-life harmony. And then the magic word instead of balance is trade-off. There will always be trade-off.
Yeah.
But when I'm with my family, in fact, my boss, my employer, my youngest daughter is with us right now, Rachel.
yes.
And
Hi,
so
Rachel.
I'm with them all the time. But the trade-off is I don't have much social life, right? So I don't go to gimmicks and everything else because I'd rather spend time with my wife of 4 to 5 years. Marriage, by
Congratulations
the way.
on that.
Thank you. You haven't heard the story yet. 45 years of wedding and 9 years of being engaged to each other. My high school sweetheart, right? Yeah.
That's a nice story.
Yeah, so, I love to be with my family all the time. And now I have my apo. So that's kind of important for me. Yeah, trade-off lang, trade-off. Yeah.
Now, Sir Francis, we're running out of time. We'd love to have you actually for the whole show. I love listening to you, but I just
Thank
want to
you.
ask, looking ahead, what kind of impact do you still hope to make, and what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Well, this is going to sound corny, and you're going to hate me for this, but I never focus on leaving a legacy behind. Why? I think I'm a little bit philosophical, Legacy is something that other people accord to you. What I'm concerned with is the moment. How can I be the best of myself right now so I can give value to the people whom I'm addressing? And then what is important for me, legacy is like you want to do something that you lived in the past. I am looking forward to I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic, and how can I build a better future, not only for me, but for the people that God has given me the opportunity to address, right? So legacy, it's up to them. And actually the truth is, no matter how famous you are, you will be forgotten.
That's true.
So people's sense of immortality is to leave their names on buildings. And I understand that. But actually, I think I'm more concerned with what I can do now and what I can do better in the future.
Wow, that's a great perspective.
I
I never thought of it that way.
Kaya na-inspire ka ba?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this whole interview, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's so inspiring.
To whom should I address the bill?
Paolo.
To Paolo.
He spoke the most.
All right.
Yeah, you can address the bill to me, but I'll
Send
forward it to them,
invoice.
so don't worry. But Sir Francis Kong, we really appreciate you. For those who want to reach out to you, for those who want to book you for engagement and maybe just check you out on social media, how can they do so?
Well, there's a couple of ways. I'm extremely active with social media. I have my Facebook page, I have my IG, I write a weekend column for the Philippine Star all the time. And I am about to launch my own podcast program to YouTube. I mean, my children arm wrestle me into doing that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And I always answer every message that's given to me.
Wow.
So I personally answer all of those. So they can find me in Facebook, they can find me almost everywhere.
Perfect.
I'll hold you to that, Sir Francis. I'll
Sure.
message you if I have a question.
You'll find us messaging you all the time.
Sure,
Sir
from you guys it's okay. From Paolo, I'll charge you, right?
By the way, we're also open to guest on his podcast as studio audience, all right? So we don't mind watching. We don't mind
I'll invite
watching.
you guys. I'll invite you guys. All right.
All right, thank you so much for joining
You're
us, Sir
welcome.
Francis.
Thank you
Really
for having
appreciate
me.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, up ahead, you might be surprised that one of the most effective wellness tools is a pen and a journal. Learn how to unlock the benefits of journaling, especially for those battling cancer. After the break, it's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Keeping a journal is a tool to chronicle your life and process emotions. But with the right prompts, journaling could take you even deeper in the practice of mindfulness. That is according to certified narrative coach Leah Eriguel, who teaches gratitude journaling for cancer patients and their families. We speak with her via Zoom to talk all about this. It's a beautiful day. Leah, welcome back to the show.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me again.
I know, suki ka na on It's a Beautiful Day. Now, Leah, let's talk about gratitude journaling. Tell us all about this and how were you or why were you inspired to start a workshop on gratitude journaling?
Okay, first, what is gratitude journaling? Gratitude journaling is intentionally coming from the perspective of gratitude and then writing it down. I specifically say writing it down because it's really the best way to bring out all the thoughts and the feelings, that are not, we're not aware of, or that we filter. We're always filtering.
Yes.
But with gratitude journaling, you come from the perspective of being thankful. And, it's a line, but also it is true. Gratitude, the gratitude perspective changes everything. It changes the messy into calm. It changes the feeling or the thinking of being entitled to being privileged, which is, huge difference.
Do you recommend gratitude journaling every day or just every other day? What do you recommend?
Oh, I recommend gratitude journaling. In fact, there is research that says, and for everyone watching, I would like you to I want to invite you to try this. They say that if you practice gratitude journaling every day for 21 days, simply write down 3 things you're grateful for every day, your positivity will heighten. You will become happier. And I would love to share my socials so that, if there's someone who after 21 days will say, nothing happened, naman, I would love to hear. And of course, at the same time, I would love to hear, wow, that was something. So that's why it's called a practice, because it has to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
It has to come to a point na terrible things are happening right now. I'm really feeling anxious. Okay, if I don't have a pen and paper, I'm gonna use my notes app and I'm gonna think about what is troubling me and how can I shift this to see the stuff that I can be grateful about.
Yeah, there's actually also a journal app on the phone that people could use. But then,
Right,
of course,
yes.
Leah, we talk about journaling a lot now. It feels like we talk about it more simply because of the fact that the conversation about mental health feels less taboo, more accessible. Some people say, grabe, game changer talaga yung journaling. But personally, I feel like it's just something that not a lot of people have paid attention to in the past. And when people start to journal, you mentioned after 21 days, you see an increase in positivity. But how open does someone need to be in their journaling? Because even by yourself, when you write it down, minsan you find it hard to be honest with what you're writing.
Okay, here's the thing. When it comes to mental health issues, it usually comes from overthinking. And when we overthink, we have a tendency to want perfection, want control. And overthinking can lead to, like I said, the feeling of entitlement. Overthinking can lead to self-pity. Overthinking leads to stress and anxiety. Now, what happens when you do gratitude journaling? Number one, sa'yo lang naman yan. So, it can be a gentle, kind practice of starting kahit bullet points lang. Beautiful day. I smell the rain. this nice service guy smiled at me. I did really well today at work. You know that I did really well today at work can be very challenging because we're so good at being grateful for so many other things, but being grateful about ourselves, that can be a challenge. And gratitude journaling can help you simply put everything that's in your head and everything that's in your heart, and you just say simply thank you.
You know, it's just so amazing that we're talking about this because you also have a unique perspective in the sense that you also give prompts or you help cancer patients to write in their journals, and when there's a cancer involved, it feels like the perspective changes. What prompts do you normally give? How do you tell them to start? And of course, just how impactful is it to those cancer patients who do start gratitude journaling?
Okay, I'm very privileged to be part of the Better Days Wellbeing Center. It's a community, it's a non-medical safe space where we help people through mind, body, and soul experiences. And what I do for the center is I give gratitude journaling practices to people living with cancer, not just for people with cancer, but also the love givers, because when someone has cancer, then everybody in the family is part of it. And it's important for people who are giving love to someone who is battling cancer to also see from gratitude. What are some of the, here's one prompt. When we say gratitude journaling, I want to clear at least the gratitude journaling that I'm so passionate about. I believe it's so important. First, you acknowledge the difficult. You acknowledge the messy. Because when you acknowledge the difficult stuff, it stops becoming the elephant in the room. Doon nanggagaling yung stress natin eh. So when we acknowledge this is something that is difficult for me, and then you find a way to say, if this happened to me, how did it happen for me? One of the prompts that have been very powerful in the gratitude journaling sessions that I have with people living with cancer is, first I say, okay, put out all your anger about the cancer. Let it out. It's a safe space. So I'm able to make salo in case, it becomes challenging for others. And then once nailabas na nila, their anger, their frustration, their fears, and then I say, okay, now all of that, see from the perspective of gratitude. How did cancer happen for you? And the answers from the room have been really, really very powerful. They come from, my career could have been like this. I was already a prime of my career, all of that. And then now and then when they shift, they say, but I realized that the cancer helped me to be closer to God. The cancer helped me to be closer to my family. And eventually, we came up with a book called Heal Strong, which is the story of 10 very, very strong and very inspiring people, love givers and cancer warriors and thrivers. It's their cancer story. And all of them say thank you. Thank you for the cancer.
Miss Leah, when you are in that situation, when you are a cancer patient, or if your loved one, if someone from your family is suffering from cancer, it's so hard to have that feeling of gratitude. Diba? Parang ang hirap maghanap ng reason to be thankful. And when that happens to the people that you coach about journaling, gratitude journaling, what do you usually tell them? How to see past the pain, the suffering, and see things that they can be thankful for and write them on the journal. What do you say to them? And also, what advice do you give for them to continue this gratitude journaling even after your workshop or even after the cancer patient has passed, their families continue to find gratitude. What is the advice that you give?
Okay, what I usually say is when you're angry, when you're anxious, when you're stressed, when you're angry about your cancer or anything that's really, really painful happening in your life, what is that like for you? It's dark. It's heavy energy. But the thing is, it's the same energy that you can shift to see what is happening for me. So if it's a choice of staying in the dark or finding the light, and when I say light, easier. It doesn't mean, okay, so I'm not going to grieve about my cancer anymore. No. The thing is, usually we get stressed because we think that life is in the binary. I'm either happy or not. I'm either grieving or not. No. The truth is, life becomes lighter when we see that most things happen in the gray. We can still continue to be sad and find a way to be grateful. It's the same energy. So why don't we shift to where it's lighter and still have that? We are a mix of nuances. We are God's artwork after all. So marami tayong colors, marami tayong nuances. Hindi ibig sabihin na, okay, gratitude means I'm not acknowledging all the difficult things already. No, in fact, to truly be grateful, you need to acknowledge, I am feeling anger. I am feeling stress. I am feeling fear. Mm-hmm. And then, how can I see this happening for me? It's making me stronger. It's making me appreciate myself more. It's making me appreciate the people around me.
You know, Miss Leah, you're absolutely right. And of course, Mo, we were talking about it a while ago, just how impactful this could be in general.
Yeah, and I'm actually curious, and I'm sure our viewers are as well. Can you tell us and talk to us more about your gratitude workshops? Where can they find you and who can join?
Okay, first off, I give gratitude journaling workshops for people living with cancer once a month. We have one for the Better Days Wellbeing Center. It's happening on March 6th at 8 p.m. It's free via Zoom. You just need to register. Better Days Wellbeing Center, you can reach us on Instagram or Facebook. And I think the link is here. It's free. You just need to register. March 6th. And it's at 8 p.m. And anyone can join. Love giver, or cancer thriver, or cancer warrior. The invitation is to come with pen and paper and your open heart. Separately, I also have the Heartworks Healing Workshops, where I give gratitude journaling as well for people who need it. And of course, I do one-on-one coachings and corporate coachings as well, where I teach that, a very, very powerful tool, so people can reach me at Heartworks Healing on Instagram.
Thank you very much. It's always wonderful speaking with you, Miss Leah, and thank you for what you do. Certified coach, narrative coach, Leah Eriguel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we got more stories for you after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Keep it here. You're watching BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Now let's take a look at the local weather where the easterlies will continue to dominate and are now impacting the entire country. Now it will bring warm and humid conditions to most areas and rainfall to the eastern part of the country. Now cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms are expected over the Bicol region, Quezon, Marinduque, Romblon, Northern Samar, Eastern Samar, Leyte, Southern Leyte, Caraga, and Davao Oriental. So practically this entire area of the country. Now, these rainfalls could lead to possible flash floods and landslides, particularly with a moderate to heavy rain that lasts for 2 to 3 hours. Now, over in Metro Manila and the rest of the country, you can expect partly cloudy to cloudy weather with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. Now, with regard to the sea conditions, there are no gale warnings in effect, so mariners are free to sail, but they should remain alert to possible weather changes. Now, speaking of the heat indices here, based on Pag-asa's latest forecast, here are the areas with the highest heat indices today. Dagupan, Pangasinan is forecasted to have a heat index of 42 degrees Celsius, which is actually under the danger zone. This kind of heat may lead to heat exhaustion, heat cramps, and heat stroke is also likely with continued exposure to the heat. So make sure to avoid going outdoors and keep yourselves hydrated. Second on the list are Iba, Zambales, Subic Bay, Olongapo, Calapan Oriental, Mindoro, and Cotabato in Mindanao. Now, these areas are under extreme caution because it feels like temperatures of 4 degrees Celsius is forecasted to have in these areas. Now, continued exposure to the heat may also result in heat cramps and exhaustion, so it is advised that you schedule heavy-duty activities early in the morning or at the end of the day when it is cooler. Lastly, in Metro Manila, specifically in Quezon City, the expected heat index is 39 degrees Celsius. While in Pasay City, residents may experience a feels-like temperature of around 38 degrees Celsius. So make sure you stay cool no matter what. Now, let's take a look at the weather conditions and forecasted temperatures for selected cities in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Now, let's go first to the extreme north of the country. Let's go to Luwag. In Luwag, Ilocos Norte, and Tuguegarao, warm and humid weather is expected with temperatures reaching up to 32 degrees Celsius. Now, in Gapan, in Nueva Ecija, Metro Manila, Coron in Palawan, partly cloudy to cloudy skies are expected along with a high chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Temperatures in Gapan, as we mentioned, could go up to around 33 degrees Celsius, while Palawan will experience a maximum of 32 degrees Celsius. Metro Manila will have temperatures of around 31 degrees Celsius. Let's go down to the Visayas, where you can see Iloilo, Dumaguete, and Metro Cebu will all have partly cloudy to cloudy weather with a possibility of afternoon thunderstorms. Now, the temperature in these areas will range from around 30 to 32 degrees Celsius, while the temperatures here, of course, still a bit hot. Make sure you stay safe with the hot weather. Tacloban will see rainy weather, though, due to the easterlies, with temperatures rising around 29 degrees Celsius over in Tacloban. Going down to Mindanao, Zamboanga City will have partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a high possibility of afternoon thunderstorms with a maximum temperature of a whopping 35 degrees Celsius. Now, in Davao City and in General Santos here to my left, the easterlies will bring rainy conditions. Now, despite the rain, temperatures in these areas could reach up to 32 to 33 degrees Celsius. Now, Pag-asa's forecast shows a danger level heat index hitting some areas of the country, forcing some schools to postpone face-to-face classes. Paolo Barcelon has the details.
Some areas of Luzon are experiencing hot weather over the last few days. Pag-asa's recent forecast shows that rising heat indexes were recorded from February 26 to March 3 and has reached 46 degrees Celsius. It can extend until March 4th. Clark in Pampanga and Muñoz in Nueva Ecija are also feeling the heat. The State Weather Bureau says 46-degree temperatures is already under the danger category, which can already cause health problems. Sweating, fatigue, dizziness, fainting, and vomiting are just some of its effects. Pag-asa says the heat we're experiencing is normal as the weather transitions to summer or dry season from March to May.
Since nasa na tayo, unang bugso ng Marso kung saan dito na mas mararamdaman natin yung init at alinsangan at papatapos na rin ng northeast monsoon or yung tinatawag nating amihan. So, ine-expect pa natin na mas tataas yung ating mga pina-forecast na heat index.
Some areas in Metro Manila suspended classes due to the heat, a move Pag-asa supports.
Ngayon, ang ginagawa namin is that we are investigating kasi in the past year, I think it was in 2024, maraming naging report ng mga bata na it's either nagkaka-vertigo or nagkaka-nosebleed. Actually, meron din nahimatay. We try to see how this heat index information could be better prepared for the students. Kasi they actually have very low tolerance to heat.
Despite the heat, Pag-asa says cold weather may still be felt in the coming days.
Since wala naman tayong El Nino ngayon, at usually ngayon ay meron tayong La Nina alert. So, ibig sabihin po, andyan pa rin po yung possible na pagdating ng amihan, although weakening na siya.
Authorities urge the public to stay home if they don't have any essential things to do outside and to drink plenty of water. The Weather Bureau is closely monitoring heat index temperatures in the coming weeks as they are eyeing a potential start of the summer season between the 2nd or 3rd week of March. Paolo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
That's it for Weather HQ. Back to you, girls.
Thank you, Pao Pao. Now buckle up because we find out what our luck is today. We find out from Feng Shui Master Hans Kua in our horoscope of the day this Tuesday. Take it away, Master Hans.
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope, Tuesday, March 4. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, ang simpleng pero sincere na effort ay magdadala ng saya. Blue at 4. Zero of Talks naman tayo. Huwag kalimutan magpahinga kapag nakakaramdam ng drain out na. Red at 6. Kay Tiger naman tayo, magandang panahon para ipakita ang iyong leadership skills. Green at 1. Rabbit naman tayo, ang simpleng pagtitipid ay magdadala ng peace of mind. Yellow at 9. Kay Dragon naman ang pag-aalaga sa relasyon ay magdadala ng saya sa inyong dalawa. White at 3. Sa Year of the Snake naman tayo, mag-stretch upang maiwasan ang stiff muscles. Pink at 2. Kay of the Horsey, ang sipag mo ay magdadala ng magandang feedback. Yellow at 7. Kay Ship naman tayo, gumawa ng budget para sa mga upcoming na expenses. White at 9. Monkey naman ang pag-unawa sa partner ay magdadala ng harmony sa inyong relasyon. Red at 3. Kay Year of the Rooster naman tayo, kumain ng balanced meal upang mapanatili ang pagiging healthy. Silver at 8. Kay Dog naman tayo, ang teamwork ay magdadala ng mas magandang resulta. Orange at 2. Kay Year of the Pig naman tayo, mag-ipon mula sa extra income para sa future plans. Purple at 7. Ako po si Master Hans Kua. Paalala lang ito po ay patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan ang horoscope of the day dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day!
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. Now, when we return, a little help for those stuck between a rock and a hard place in love. Who do you choose between the person you love and the person who loves you? Coach V has the answers after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Ang galing!
Hello, hello, welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Love may not be a math equation to solve, but when love is not equal between two lovers, how does the heart decide? Coach V returns for today's Love Hacks. Take it away, Coach V.
Mas gugustuhin mo bang piliin ang taong mahal na mahal ka kahit wala kang nararamdaman? Or will you take a risk on the one who makes your heart race kahit hindi ka naman sigurado kung mahal ka rin niya? One offers security but no passion. The other one makes you feel alive but could leave you broken. So, which is the smarter choice? And is there even a right choice? Good morning, loves. It's a beautiful day. Coach V here, ready to help you level up your love life. Welcome to Love Hacks. The ultimate dilemma, loves. Let's be real. We've all been there before. Either ikaw ang minamahal ng sobra, or ikaw naman ang naghahabol sa maling tao. So let me tell you a story. Mia had a boyfriend, Mark. Mark was perfect, consistent, faithful, and adores her naman. But every time Mark says, I love you, all she could say back was, thank you. Sakit, di ba?
Saklap.
Then, there was Jake naman, the guy Mia couldn't stop thinking about. Ito tayo eh. He gave just enough attention to keep her hoping but never really committed to her. So Mia had a choice. Stay with Mark, na sure thing, the man who loved her more than she loved him, or risk everything for Jake, the man who made her feel alive, but never made her feel secure. Sounds familiar, loves? This is the reality of relationships. There's almost always one who loves more than the other. And believe it or not, science has an answer to this age-old dilemma. Now, let's talk about the science behind who loves more. Sabi ng psychologists, love, they call this the principle of least interest. The person who is less in love actually holds more power in relationship. Napaisip ka na ba, loves? The reason is simple. They have less to lose compared to the person who loves more than the other. Now, let's talk about a little bit about research. The partner who loves more tends to be the one making the sacrifices daw, nag-a-adjust ng mas marami, and feels more insecure. Their partner who loves naman less is often the one being pursued and prioritized. So, the million-dollar question, who should you choose? Let me ask my fellow host right here, and of course, the part of the production. Would you go for somebody you love or somebody who loves you? Pao.
I was going to ask Mo.
Me, I want to know your answer, Pao. Let's ask Anne, actually.
Sige.
Let's start with Anne.
No, because we know Anne is a type to pursue.
Oo, actually. Very
Anne
true.
would pursue you
So,
kahit may pager ka pa.
Is that
Pursue
totoo?
ka. Oo.
So would you rather go for somebody who loves you more? Or loves you love
Kailangan
them more?
both. Should be both ways.
But have to choose muna one right now. If you have to choose, mas mahal ka o mas mahal mo?
Mas mahal ako.
Ayan.
Whoa.
See, that was the opposite.
Yeah.
Same? Mas
Same.
mahal ka?
Yeah.
Pao?
Yeah.
How about you, sir?
Sir Alan.
Alan, yes.
Isa lang. Yeah. So, loves, tingnan natin if that's the smarter choice, going for somebody who loves you more. Here are the pros and cons. If you're choosing the one who loves you, eto nga, may stability, may security, and knowing that you'll never have to question their feelings kasi kabisado mo na mahal ka eh. Less heartbreak, tsaka fewer mind games din. Now, what is the disadvantage if you go for somebody who loves you more? Ikaw naman, what if you never feel the same? Over time, will you start resenting them, thinking na, oh, I would have just went for somebody that I love? Love without passion can feel more like a friendship. So are you guys okay being with somebody that you love more, but who loves you more, but you feel like friends? A Harvard study found that relationships built on security tend to last longer. But kung hindi ka naman attracted and wala namang passion, many end up feeling emotionally unfulfilled. So does that mean choosing passion is the better choice? Not so fast, love. What are naman the advantages if you choose somebody that you love? Syempre, may excitement, may passion, and there's that undeniable spark. And if it works, swerte mo. It feels like winning the jackpot. Always being the person that you love. Sabi nga nila kung sino ang nagmamahal, yun ang mas masaya in a relationship. Now, let's talk about the disadvantage naman. What if they don't love you back? Nako, that's a very painful cycle. You might end up losing yourself, trying to be enough for them. Lagi kang kakabahan kasi anytime they can leave you. Now, brain scans show that unrequited love activates the same addiction pathways as drugs. Ibig sabihin, parang you're chasing someone who doesn't love you back. It's like chasing somebody or chasing a high that will never last, no matter how much you have of them. What's the scientific truth about this? Loves, ready na ba kayo? Science has already answered this question. There's this study nga from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships. Sabi nila, relationships where one person loves more than the other, nako, there's an 80% chance of them failing. Ang taas, no? So we shouldn't go for somebody pala who loves us more or we love them more. Meanwhile, the couples naman who share mutual love and commitment, 3 times more likely to stay together long term. So if you think, love me and I'll learn to love you back, or I'll chase them until they see my worth, you might just end up in a heartbreak. So ano nga ba ang tamang choice? Love. This is it. Here's the answer. Settling for someone who loves you but you don't truly love is not love. It's comfort with an expiration date. Remember that time that you went for that type of person. Now, what if naman you chase somebody who doesn't love you back? It's not passion. It's self-destruction. What are the secrets of the happiest couple? The happiest and most successful relationship are not about choosing between security and passion. Tama yung sagot ni Anne kanina. The real win is finding both. If you don't feel excited and deeply connected, you're settling. If you're constantly chasing naman and proving your worth, you're losing. Mapapagod ka. Now, the healthiest love is the one where both of you feel lucky to have each other. Hindi yung isa lang, yung feeling na naka-jackpot. Here's a final reality check and some mind-blowing facts. Pinakita ng research that people who wait for mutual love instead of settling or chasing end up in the most fulfilling relationship. Why? Because they don't waste time in dead-end love stories. They hold out for the real deal. So here's the secret. If you ever find yourself torn between these two choices, no, the one you love or the one who loves you, the smartest move, neither. Wait for the one where love is equal, because anything less will cost you more than you realize. Remember, loves, if you can choose between the two, it's probably because it's neither of them. Again, this is Coach V, here to help you level up your love life. Join me again tomorrow on It's a Beautiful Day. Love you.
Grabe. Totoo pala yung kanta.
Na?
When a heart breaks, it doesn't break even.
Ay, totoo.
Diba?
That's true.
But then, it is also the reason why, tama si Anne kanina, diba? Siya lang yung kasal dito eh.
Yeah, tama naman sagot niya. Real power role.
Yeah.
Tama naman.
You have to find someone who loves you just as much as you love them. It has to be a two-way street.
Many
all
people
the time.
is probably asking, is it possible, Anne, to find somebody na
It
talagang
is.
mutual?
Yeah,
Hindi mo ba
it
nafe-feel na mas love mo siya or mas love ka niya? Nararamdaman mo ba yung 50-50 love? Mutual love?
50-50 love, yes.
Wow. Possible pala yun
Oo.
talaga. Diba?
Wala. If you disagree, message Anne. That is it for us today, Tuesday, March 4. Ako po si Paolo del Rosario. Thank you very much for joining us. And Coach V, thank you very much for being here as well.
Thank you for having me back.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Make this day unforgettable by spreading kindness, choosing happiness, and celebrating the kind of love that you deserve.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Have a great day ahead. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day!